Hey guys, what's up? So, is the pre-bull run flush underway? We're already going through a bit of a pullback. Today I want to talk about some of the reasons why I think this bull run is going to be so important for any of you that are still trying to build some wealth, and how to do that, and also how to trade the current price action. What sort of price action levels are we looking at for Bitcoin and Ethereum? But let's start with something that I think we all know is actually true. No one is more hated than he who speaks the truth. And one of the things I'm doing, or spending more time on at the moment, is trying to put my thoughts out there. Whether they're useful or not remains to be seen, but when you look at the world and what's happening, there is a pattern that's going on, and nobody really wants to deal with it. So I understand if people want to hate on what I have to say or find it too crazy, but let's go through a couple of recent examples, again, of what I would call face value politics. Let's start with this one. This is Uber and Lyft saying that they're done in Minneapolis because the minimum wage is supposedly meant to raise up to over $15 an hour for unskilled workers and so on. Now, on face value, of course this looks great. We get to give everybody a higher standard of living. But that's not really true. If you engage your brain and go a few levels deeper, you'll quickly find that this is just another form of inflation and another way of removing the middle class. Any of you that are watching this should probably be aware by now that left and right politics is generally an illusion. It's basically two sides of a vice squeezing everybody that's in the middle until there's nothing left. And the left on this would be screaming that this is good socialism and this is great for the lower classes. People on the right will just be screaming, saying, oh my God, this is not sustainable. There has to be, there's no way we can do this. Everyone should just hustle and grind harder. But the truth is actually neither what the left say or what the right say. It's always that way. And the truth of this is that by raising the minimum wage to these unsustainable levels, all that really happens is that normal business owners are squeezed out of the game, and actually then there are no employers left to give people jobs other than huge corporations who then have all the power and control. And they can afford to suck up these crazy wage increases because they're holding vast sums of money behind the scenes. And that's just the way it will go on. This is just inflation. This is not good for anybody. So let's look at another thing that's happening a lot recently. Here's an example of yet another guaranteed income pilot scheme, or universal basic income is the more common term. Maybe they're trying to rebrand this these days as guaranteed income. But this is another sort of small piece of evidence that across the US and many other countries now, it's quite clear that they are rolling out some kind of universal basic income scheme. And all of these tests that are going on and all these small snippets of media that go on if you go and look for it are there to pave the way and normalize this, get people ready for the concept. And it's just another form of one massive inflation if you just give people free money. But number two, it basically paves the way to the end of the economic system as we know it, because if people begin to receive money just for existing, I would be very much behind that if the source of the money made sense and the transparency was there. But as it stands, as we know, most things are not transparent, and if people are just given free money, they're ultimately going to become dependent on a system that we already know is 100% corrupt and poisonous and doesn't have the best interest at heart of anybody that's involved in the system except the people at the very top. So universal basic income rolling out should be a warning sign to everybody. And that's something I've tried to speak about in my last video, Get Rich Off Grandpa, the Bitcoin ETF Boomer Trap. Because essentially what is happening right now in the world is that all of the money is being sucked out of people's pockets through things like hyperinflation and other tricks and traps that I talk about in this video. And then they are giving us that money back that they've stolen from us in inflated wages or universal basic income schemes. Because all of these actually, these are accelerators towards the end of our ability to hold and own wealth. And if you remember, the grand scheme going on behind the scenes of the Great Reset is that we should all own nothing and be happy. And the only way that anyone will be happy with that is if they have absolutely nothing left. nothing left to fight for, nothing left that they apparently own. And that's why you've seen over years taxes that don't make sense, constant regulation that's designed to push people out of business and make things too expensive. It's a big game of monopoly. So that's why I left this screen up from the last video. This is just a joke I put together, obviously, but the bottom line is that this bull run for crypto probably is one of the last chances that I can see right now, at least, for people to make some money from the madness that's going on. We know that there is a big game being played here. If you have any I won't even say common sense, it requires something different, it seems. You need to shake off the brainwashing and see the game that's being played around us. And if you can see what's really happening, you'll know that this bull run, it is part of the scheme, part of the shake and bake, whatever you want to say, but boomers and all the rest of the common plebs need to keep being shaken so that they have no money left. This bull run is part of that, and if you can see that, you'll know that there is an opportunity in the chaos for you to get involved. And if you can work with people like us and platforms like Profit Farmers, you'll have an opportunity to get your hands on some of these crypto gains before the market then inevitably collapses all over again. And the danger that I see with the next market collapse is that this time we are now attaching pension pots and social security to the cryptocurrency market through the ETF system. If you can't see how crazy this is at this point, if you can only see the headlines that are, ETF, Bitcoin has made it, crypto to the moon, if you can't see past that, you're in trouble. And that's why I made that last video, so that people can start waking up and seeing the game for what it actually is. Okay, so if you want to make money from crypto, stay in touch, and if you've got people you care about, get them to start watching this kind of content and get them to start educating themselves before it becomes too late, because there's not long left here before, as I say, social security and the economy as we know it is being more and more wrapped up into a system that is 100% manipulated, and everybody knows it's manipulated. That should be scary. That should be a wake-up call. All right, let's talk about something more practical very quickly. So here's some Bitcoin analysis that I can give you. This particular analysis is courtesy of Daryl, legendary Daryl from Classical Traders, classicaltraders.com. If you want to join for free, you can find your way into the community there, and there is a free beginners club. This is some of his advanced teachings. I just want to share this with you because I think it's very useful right now. If you've checked my last videos about the pre-bull run flush and how to trade it, and then the follow-up analysis, you'll know that everything that's happening right now is exactly what we were expecting. So let's just roll on from here and show you what I think happens next. The short story here is that quite likely we're going to continue to push down to below this wick, and once we have broken that wick, we will either see a full reversal, which means that price will essentially come down to here and then continue to new highs, or we will just have a retracement, and the area that we need to keep an eye on is quite likely around here. There'll probably be some kind of fight. It will look like that on the charts, at least somewhere in this area, and then if it doesn't make it through, then I believe that our next stop will be to take out this level here, and you will find that Bitcoin could fall all the way down to in this case just below 50,000. Okay, the other path that I've drawn on here is that if we start closing candles beneath this box, at the edge of this box and just below, we'll probably head to this level almost immediately. So how can you trade this? Well, if you're in your spot portfolios, as I've already told you in the previous video, once we're in this area here, this was your warning sign for deciding whether you want to go flat on the market and get into stable coins. So that's all I can really say, the same thing. I believe that we will be heading down here unless something obvious changes, and there could be a retracement, but there could just be a full move down to this level. Alright, I don't think I need to explain anything else. If you've got your head screwed on here, you'll know how to trade this now. And if you need help, join us in classicaltraders.com and shout up, and people will be happy to try and give you a little bit of advice or opinion, let's say, on the charts and how they see them there. Okay, we can take a look at Ethereum whilst we're here because it's the same story. What's going on? It's upside down. That's why. Okay, so I would say again that expectation after some sort of small retracement today, tomorrow, will continue down below this wick. And if this area fails, then don't be surprised to see price coming all the way down here. So effectively, something like this. In this area, we may have another pullback, and then something like that. Or continuation, or straight through here. Alright, same thing for ETH. So hopefully you can understand that now. I'm trying to keep this really simple so that these videos are not heavy on the technical analysis. Try to understand, as I've said, that it's really important that you make the most of this bull run and try and keep your eyes open to what's on the other side of this bull run. Even if you make money from this, I believe it's going to be a challenge for a lot of us to hold on to that money, because strange things are quite likely to start happening with the economy. This goes back to the de-dollarization narratives as well, so maybe I should mention another video that I put out that you might want to take a peek at. I believe I did that as a quick short. This is called De-dollarization versus dollar milkshake. That will give you a starting point, a thread to pull on to check out the two different narratives that I believe could happen after we see this bull run coming to a close and things start really falling apart. There's a de-dollarization narrative where America effectively implodes like the Weimar Republic before World War II. Or was it World War One? Or was it both of them? I need to check the dates actually. But basically Germany's currency hyperinflated, and then they were led into war. Are we going to see the same with America? It's possible. There's a lot of reasons that could happen. The other option is the dollar milkshake, where the Fed, the dollar controls the world economically, and most smaller economies are linked to the dollar through trade or through the necessity of needing to use the greenback. If the interest rate is put up really high, then lots of countries are going to be at risk of collapse. So that's another way we may see the global economic system that we currently have fall apart. So there are two paths to oblivion, unfortunately, here. That's the usual issue that we all face. As I said at the beginning of this video, you have left and right politics, but both of them are just paths to oblivion for everybody that actually wants to just live happily in the middle. And I guess that brings us back nicely to no one is more hated than he who speaks the truth. So that's it for today's quick low budget Money and Mirth episode. I hope you find this a useful update, and I'll catch you all again soon. Bye bye now.